to Bank Breakers. Now for the newcomers, let me quickly tell you why I'm here. I'm here as your fantasy liaison. I'm here to give you a little free advice to help you make a little bit more money on Sunday. I'm here to help you assemble the right team on DraftKings, the right team on FanDuel, so that you up your odds on making money on Sunday. But again, we're wasting time with all this hot air, so let's get into it. As always, we open on quarterbacks.
I'm dead sexy.
Now this might come off a bit biased, but my first value pick this week is Eli Manning. I'm certain I don't have to explain why, but for all you haters out there, I will. In his last 3 games, Eli is averaging 261 yards and 2.3 touchdowns to just 0.3 interceptions a game. This week he plays San Francisco, the 10th easiest fantasy matchup for quarterbacks, and in the last 3 games has surrendered 301.3 yards and 2 touchdowns through the air, which has led Pro Football Focus to rate San Francisco as the 5th worst pass coverage defense in the league. San Francisco this year is like a boxer in the wrong weight class. You feel badly that he's getting his ass kicked, but at the same time, you love to see that much blood. With only one value pick, we go right to the hidden gem.
I am very, very sneaky, sir.
After picking Eli, it was only fair to pick Peyton. Now, if I could, I'd pick Archie, but I can't. On the season, Peyton's averaging 242 yards and 1.5 touchdowns a game. And when he plays on the road, those numbers grow to 290 yards and 2.5 touchdowns. This week, Peyton plays Oakland, a team he has destroyed every time he suits up. In the last 6 games Peyton's played against Oakland, he's averaging 316.8 yards through the air for 2.7 touchdowns and 0.3 interceptions. Although with age came Peyton's noodle arm, the Oakland defense is far too weak to stop him. Now we press on to the dart throw.
Wild card, bitches!
Every week this guy starts. We root for him to pull a hammy or tweak an ankle or dive into the end zone while 2 guys hit him. He spins like a helicopter, lands on a head, gets a concussion, and fumbles at the back. But this week, we don't want to root for that for Josh McCown. This week, McCown is set to play the Ravens, who in the last 3 games surrendered 286 passing yards for 2.3 touchdowns, while also holding running backs to only 85 yards. Now, in McCown's last 2 starts, he's tossed the rock for 363.5 yards and 2 touchdowns on 45 attempts. Now, we all want Johnny Football to take this league by storm, but as my good friend Eduard says, he sucks. So play McCown. Only 3 quarterbacks I like this week, so come with me. Let's do running backs.
I'm dead sexy.
My first value pick is TJ Yeldon. I really do love selling you guys Jacksonville Jaguars. Maybe because it's hard. Maybe because TJ Yeldon is the most productive rookie running back this year. On the season, Yeldon averages 17.5 carries for 65 yards a game. Now, I know those numbers aren't great, but they're skewed by 2 blowout losses the Jags have suffered. In those losses, Yeldon averages 11.5 carries for 42 yards. But in the competitive games, the close games, Yeldon is averaging 23.5 carries for 87.5 yards. And this week, the Jags square off against Tampa Bay, who are only favored by 3 points, and on the year have surrendered 137.8 yards and 0.7 TDs to running backs. I'm not telling you to watch this pillow fight game. I'm just telling you to play Yeldon, sit back, relax, and watch him tally up some points for you. Quickly, sue me. Sue me. I'm a bandwagon jumper. And this week I jumped onto Devonta Freeman's bandwagon. In the last 2 games, Freeman's averaging 24 rushes for 104.5 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's also tallied 5 receptions for 66.5 yards. But what makes Freeman most attractive is that Atlanta loves to run the ball in the red zone. Of their 48 red zone opportunities, Atlanta's run the ball 29 times, giving Freeman 6 of his 7 total touchdowns. Now you might be scared because he's playing the Washington Redskins, who love to stop the run, allowing just 59 yards a game. But who have they stopped? Nobody. Expect Atlanta to get the ball into the red zone and then pound the ball with "Do you want a Fanta, Mr. Devonta?" My final value pick is LeGarrette Blount. Puff, puff, run! says LeGarrette Blount. And that's exactly what he's going to do on Sunday. This week, New England plays an injury-riddled Dallas Cowboys team and have had 2 weeks to prepare for them. They're favored by 7.5 points, but I consider Dallas extremely lucky if they kept the game that close. Now, the last time I called Blount to have a big game was in Week 3, when he carried it 18 times for 78 yards and 3 touchdowns. Dallas is the 3rd easiest fantasy matchup for running backs and has allowed 5 touchdowns on the season. Here's the game script. New England gets up big and then turns the Blount and tells him to do what he does best. Ground and pound, baby.
I am very, very sneaky, sir.
My hidden gem this week is Chris Thompson. Now, you might not know who he is because I had no idea until he blipped up on my radar. But Thompson in his last 2 games averages 4 attempts for 41 yards and 5 receptions for 40.5 yards and half a touchdown. He's played 72 snaps and is the only running back in the Redskins backfield that can catch the ball. Why is that important? Because this week Thompson plays the Atlanta Falcons, who are dead last in defending running backs out of the backfield. Atlanta is also favored by 8 points, so expect the Redskins to throw the ball a lot. Do you feel it? The knowledge showering over you. You're welcome.
Wild card, bitches!
I really hate when the producers of this show give me some stupid cowboy to request to you guys. But this week I like Darren McFadden. With Lance Dunbar out for the year, expect McFadden to take over as the main receiving running back for Dallas, as he has 3 seasons in his career with 35-plus receptions and 2 seasons with 40-plus receptions. And if he plays with check-down Charlie Brown, Brandon Weeden, McFadden will have ample opportunity to rack up a bunch of PPR points. Normally I close each player with something fun, but this year's a Cowboy, so I think I'm going to throw up. Andale, andale! We're on the wide receivers!
I'm dead sexy.
My first value pick is Larry Fitzgerald. Larry's here and he's gonna have a good game. I love to sing this song to him. On the season, Fitzgerald's averaging 7.5 receptions for 108 yards and 1.3 touchdowns a game. That's .62 fantasy points per route. Larry is back to being Carson's #1 option, as he has been throwing the ball 27.6% of Carson's dropbacks. And those numbers increase when Carson gets into the red zone, looking at Larry 6 times for 4 touchdowns. But why is Larry a must-start this week? Because he's going to be covered by Josh Wilson this Sunday, who gives up an average of .3 fantasy points per route. Do the math. Larry averages .62 per route. Wilson gives up .3 per route. Add them together, that's a big game for Larry. My second value pick is Jeremy Maclin. It turns out Jeremy Maclin is a fan of the show, but wasn't very pleased with my rent of the week last week. Anyways, on the year, Maclin is receiving 28% of Alex Smith's passing attempts, which has helped him ball out recently, as Maclin in the last 2 games averages 9.5 catches for 144.5 yards and half a touchdown. This week, he'll be covered by Chicago Bears' Kyle Fuller, who has already given up 8 touchdowns this year. I know Kansas City throwing a touchdown to a wide receiver is about as likely as finding Waldo, but expect Jeremy Maclin to get one this week. My third value pick is Jordan Matthews. I know, I'm just as mad as you are. The Eagles have lost every good gambler money this year, but I'm not betting on the Eagles. I'm betting on Jordan Matthews. This year, Jordan Matthews has received 38 targets through 4 games. That's 22 more targets than the next closest wide receiver. In his first 2 weeks of the season, Matthews was on fire, averaging 8 receptions for 91 yards and half a touchdown. This week he plays New Orleans, who are 27th ranked defense against the #1 wide receivers, and will be covered by Brandon Browner, who sucks. Hey, I know the Eagles lost you money. They lost me money too. But Jordan Matthews will have a big week this week. Oh, Daddy needs a snake, guys. If Allen Robinson doesn't show up this week, I personally guarantee I'll give everybody their money back. In his last 3 games, Robinson is averaging 4.7 receptions, 101 yards, and .6 touchdowns, and has been targeted by Blake Bortles 25% of the time. This week, Robinson plays Tampa Bay cornerbacks Tim Jennings and Mike Jenkins, who have already allowed 3 touchdowns on the year. Just for clarification, if Allen Robinson doesn't hit value this week, I will actually not be giving anybody their money back. The lawyer just called. He said it'd be illegal. It'd be a legal mess. I'd be covered in. Don't tell anybody. But it's time for the hidden gem.
I am very, very sneaky, sir.
My hidden gem this week is Kendall Wright. Oh, 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 cause it's Kendall Wright. Yes, it's Kendall Wright. On the season, Kendall Wright is averaging 4.3 receptions for 71 yards and 0.6 touchdowns a game. This week, Kendall goes toe-to-toe with a Buffalo Bills secondary that has had difficulty stopping the slot receiver, as Nick Roby, their struggling slot corner, graded out as a -2 in coverage, according to Pro Football Focus. Now, if you're wondering, yes! That is the All That theme song that I was singing at the beginning. Values, done. Hidden gem, done. You know what time it is. Dart throw.
Wild card, bitches!
My dart throw this week is Willie Snead, the lost puppy of the NFL who just got adopted by New Orleans. In his last 3 games with Drew Brees, Snead is averaging 6.7 targets for 5 receptions and 59 yards. On top of that, he has 3 looks in the red zone for 1 touchdown. Snead has quickly crept into becoming Brees' new favorite target, as last week he caught 6 balls for 89 yards. Snead will also match up opposite of Maxwell, the highly paid, absolute trash corner for the Philadelphia Eagles. As best said by Judge Smalls, oh, Willie, oh, Willie Barou, be good to me, Willie. I need $40,000, Willie. It feels as if we're almost finished. Oh, that's because we're on tight ends.
I'm dead sexy.
My one and only value pick this week is Sir Charles Clyde, the most proper man in the National Football League. This week, Sir Charles plays Tennessee, who is the 5th easiest matchup for tight ends and is giving up 4.3 receptions for 70 yards a game. Now, in the last 2 weeks, Clay has been hungry, averaging 7 receptions for 96.5 yards and half a touchdown, which makes him the 4th highest fantasy scoring tight end in the league. Although Sir Charles suffered a tragic loss to the best team in the league last week, expect him and the Bills to bounce back this week. Come close. Come close. I'm gonna tell you the hidden gem.
I am very, very sneaky, sir.
My hidden gem this week is Antonio Gates. The steroid man is back, and rumors say he's faster, stronger, and angrier than ever. The NFL might want to retest him, but before they do, get him on your team this week. This week, Gates plays the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are the 4th easiest fantasy matchup for tight ends and have given up the 2nd most tight end receiving touchdowns this year. When in the red zone, the Steelers have trouble locating where the tight end is, giving up 6 receptions for 4 touchdowns. And last year, Antonio Gates was the league's best red zone tight end with 10 receptions and 9 touchdowns. Phillip Rivers gets his favorite target back this week. Don't let the man party alone. Get Gates on your team. Dart throw.
Wild card, bitches!
My dart throw this week is Derek Carrier. Now, Carrier's numbers on the season are non-existent because the man's a 3rd-string tight end. But wait, 3 Washington tight ends are on IR, meaning Carrier should play every snap, and more importantly, tally up red zone looks, as the Redskins love tossing their tight ends the pigskin once they hit pay dirt. Another reason to take a chance on Carrier this weekend is his matchup against the Atlanta Falcons, who have surrendered on average 4.8 receptions and 45.5 yards to tight ends for half a touchdown. Derek Aircraft Carrier stands at 6'3", 291 pounds, and runs a 4.55 40. This is the most athletic 3rd-string tight end I've ever seen. Quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. Oh, I guess it's time for defenses and kickers. Somebody get these people to slide, please. Defenses this week, I like the Denver Broncos, the New York Giants, and the Cincinnati Bengals. For kickers this week, I like Stephen Hauschka, Robbie Gould, and Cario Santos. Now, you know, if you play my value picks, my hidden gems, or my dart throws, you're gonna have money to spend on the elite guys. Here are the ones I like this week. Quarterbacks, only Tom Terrific. At running backs, Le'Veon Bell and Eddie Lacy. At wide receiver, Odell Beckham Jr. and Demaryius Thomas. And at tight end, Big Rob Gronkowski. Now the moment you've all been waiting for. Time for me to share with you the teams I'm entering this week. On FanDuel, I'm entering 3 $5 teams where the max prize is $150,000. On DraftKings, I'm entering 3 $3 teams where prizes range to $1.5 million. Now, as always, you have to protect your investment, so here are my cash games. On FanDuel, a $10 entry where the top 150 guys win $20, and on DraftKings, a similar $10 entry where the top half win $20. The purpose of cash games is to win your money back, so trust me, play them. Alright people, that's it. Finito! You might think I look a little happy. That's because I am. I get to enjoy my weekend now, and you do too. Let's enjoy the weekend together. Let's make a little money together on Sunday. As always, tune in Wednesday for the show that will comment on this weekend's activities. A little commentary on the NFL, a little humor, a little laughs. Right now, get out of my bedroom. Get out.